I'm trying to find words to describe this profound perception about unconditional love and mirror reflection that happens in any relationship. So how do I put it? A mirror reflection, I see it now, is the soul's way of using the person's subconscious, whatever is in there, because the subconscious is created from your personal experience from the moment you're born, with all the beliefs, with all the thought processes, the conditioning, the coping mechanisms, the way of survival, the way of protection, the way of moving on. So your soul has this direct contact with you through your subconscious. If your subconscious was clear of limiting beliefs, limiting thought processes, limiting perception of unconditional love, your actions would be a reflection of that. Your soul would have that more clear, direct communication with your subconscious that is clearly embedded in unconditional love, understanding. But because we carry traumas, we carry conditioning, we carry thought processes that sometimes can be heavily conditioned through love, but conditioned, are so when it comes down to communicate with the subconscious, the manifestation of that through our actions, through our way of being, become somewhat infiltrated, so somewhat expressed through this manifestation. So then as you have a projection, because a projection can be, we are projecting going at someone, but projection could just mean simply you're manifesting a behavior, okay? Might not be conscious. So it will reach someone's mirror, and it will be that reflection between the two, okay? As I see it, if one side can see that there is a mirror reflection playing out, it doesn't matter if it's one person sees it or two people see it. But if one person sees it and that person starts to work on whatever has come back to them, which will be triggers, they'll feel triggers and they'll be like, why am I getting triggered? I'm going to work on those triggers because there's something in me that I need to work. It's not about the other person. The other person was only receiving from their soul through unconditional love to be something through unconditional love from the soul, but it's being the unconditional love is being distorted through the subconscious conditional love. So the projection, the manifestation of their behavior comes out conditional, but it is coming from an unconditional love soul, okay? When the other person sees it, that it's actually the soul sending that message for them to see something, for them to see. You sit there and you think, that person is in unconditional love, showing me this I need to see about myself. When you see it, that about yourself, you see it in unconditional love, okay? If we are seeing that person through triggers, through everything, conditionally, we're going to see ourselves conditionally. And we could fall into guilt, into self-blame, into shame, or even blaming the other person. But because we are seeing the reflection through conditional situations, if we can see through beyond that and see through the unconditional, is profound, because you're accepting that which that person is acting, behaving, as a way of them showing you unconditionally what they're showing, what they're triggering on yourself for you to see about yourself. And when you see it and you work on it and you realize how unconditional that was from that person to do that, you realize that you actually feel unconditional love for that person. And whatever that manifested could have hurt you, could have triggered you. But when you can actually see through this other layer of unconditional love instead of the dense layer through conditional love, the mirror effect is an easy process to go through, and it skips all the skips all the self-blame, blaming others, the victimhood, guilting others. It just skips all that. And your actions sometimes can be that you might need to put some boundaries, in a healthy way, in a unconditional love way. It might be that your action is to let them through, let them in. Yeah, whatever unconditional way you're able to see it. And you will know it's unconditional when your heart glows, when your heart expands. When you make that decision and your heart expands, you know it's coming from an unconditional love. And the more you follow that heart expansion, that how it can happen quite suddenly, it can happen randomly. You think, why is my heart expanding? It's because your heart's trying to show you that there is an unconditional love situation there. There's something to be seen unconditionally. But when you're able to make that decision and you know it's coming from your heart, because you know your heart chakra has expanded, it has been absolutely just glowing within you. You might have to come to terms with that decision. You might have to say, well, but that decision might cause that other person to go through a process that might not be very pleasant if they don't see it coming from unconditional love. But it's a process that perhaps it's, needed. But as long as you're doing from unconditional love, that reverberates to that person, and the higher chances that that person will also feel it and see it from unconditional love, and their process can become much easier. Okay? We are all catalysts in everything that we think, everything that we do, everything that we say, however way we behave. Do you want to be a catalyst out of conditional love, or do you want to be a catalyst out of unconditional love? Because there's no way of avoiding being that catalyst in anyone's life. We all unity, we all as one. And I was talking about energy management in this huge pot of soup, where we have to be very aware now. Where is our energy? What's our energy sipping through, and where we are allowing things to sip in? Because everyone is now becoming hypersensitive to everyone's energy. And if we don't know how to manage our own energy, how to contain our own energy, we're going to be sipping through people, and we're going to create mirrors through energy, not just through behavior, not just through the physical level, where we can create triggers on people just by body language, by a look, a tone of your voice, a behavior, a word, a sentence, a decision. But can you imagine we're creating triggers here on the energy level, where We're here living our lives, but not realizing that our energy are sipping out so far, and people are picking up because they're also very sensitive, and triggers are going on back then. You don't even know. You could be feeling all haywire in here and you don't even know why. You wake up all haywire and you think, is my energy sipping through? Am I picking up someone else's energy? You need to have that management as well. But we have to understand that we are all catalysts. We are all catalysts in one way or another, for ourselves and for others. And others are catalysts for us and for themselves. And there's no way to avoid this. So we want to be, if we're going to be catalysts, that we are in unconditional love. And every time you get to a situation, you have to strip all the conditions there are in there, all the conditions. And you might find that you might not be able to strip it all. Conditions are infinite. Even to be able to fully understand unconditional love, we are so far away from it. But there are little steps that we can start using in unconditional love, because there's so many layers to it. And we can start using the soft layers, the superficial layers, until we get to understand more layers, more layers, more layers, more layers. But at the moment, there has been a vulnerability in people's energy. And I question whether it's coming from the sensitivity that more people are becoming sensitive, and then there is quite a lot of triggers going on in the energy fields, between people energy fields, not realizing that we are so far away and beyond that we need to contain that a little bit more for ourselves. But remember that when making decisions, when being yourself, to be in unconditional love, no matter how difficult the situation is being in unconditional love for yourself first. The other person can only feel the unconditional love decision that you made if you were unconditional to yourself first. You can't be unconditional to them first, because that means you're doing it for them. That's conditional. You got to do it for you. And you have to be in unconditional love first with yourself. Be able to cherish that, be able to, be able to feel it without anxiety and fear, your own unconditional love, at least part of it, at least what you can feel. Because it's infinite, like I said, we're going to forever find different layers. And as there's human evolution going through on the planet for years and years and years to come, more of that is going to unfold. So I'm not saying that we know everything about unconditional love, because we don't. But what we do, we need to practice for ourselves, with ourselves, because whatever we do, whatever we say from unconditional love that is within us, reverberates out to everyone, and it's well accepted, it's well understood. When we find ourselves in this, situation where everyone is interpreting in a different way, and you're forever trying to reiterate what you said, and realizing that it's been understood completely different, and then it's like a story on top of a story, and then it gets to a point you can't undo it. It's because that first decision in the first place was made from a conditional love. And we really need to get the grips with it. What is conditional love? What is unconditional love? Everything that we put a condition to it is conditional love. This must happen because of that. If you do this, you get this. If I do this, I must get this. If I get to this point, this could happen. This is all conditional. We are living this conditional day-to-day activity. Even the little things are so conditional these days, and we have to uncondition that so we can understand these little layers of unconditional love that are coming through for us to see. So I think the main message here is, even through mirror reflection, that you find yourself in a mirror reflection with another person. And however decision that you feel is coming from your heart will glow. And you know it's coming from your heart. And if you follow that decision and you know it's coming from unconditional love, there will be a much greater understanding of themselves on the other side. I'm not expecting them to understand my decision. I'm not expecting them to understand why I made this decision. That's all conditioning. But as long as you make your decision from unconditional love, whatever process they go through, it becomes easier for them, because you will be reverberated from unconditional love as well. And the main reason they were there producing that behavior is because the soul is unconditional. But as it goes through our subconscious to come out in the physical plane, it just gets disturbed, distorted. But there is the soul intention of unconditional love in there. And when you can feel that coming from the mirror reflection from another person, when you can feel that, your whole perception of that mirror reflection is completely different. And this is when I say it's very important to connect to your heart chakra every single day, daily. Then when you're able to connect to your heart chakra easily, and you notice your heart chakra actually activating through the day for no reason whatsoever, be assured that there is a situation right there when the heart activated that is coming from unconditional love. Start to tap into that sensation, to tapping into those energies. And with practice, everything that you do, if you bring the heart into unconditional love, as you washing the dishes, as you brushing your child's hair, as you watching your child's swimming lessons, as you writing, as you reading, as you having a shower, if you just touch your heart and go into that sensation of the heart chakra, that you know how it feels when you get there, try to bring that into your day-to-day activity. Because when you get into a situation where it's not coming from unconditional love, you will know. And when it comes from unconditional love, you're going to be able to see a more profound version of that situation. You're going to be able to see the unconditional love version of that situation, because every situation has different versions of it. And however, where we're sitting, we're going to see that version. If I'm sitting in anger, I'm going to see that situation in anger version. If I'm sitting in adoration, I'm going to see that situation in adoration. And as you see through the mirror, through unconditional love, you can strip with more clarity exactly the intentions behind everything. And you're going to find that everything comes from unconditional love, but it's just distorted by people's subconscious, whatever is in there in the subconscious. And then is the next question, is it their fault? Yeah, it's another question. We have to be able to work through it ourselves. Yeah, I'm not going to say yes or no, but it's something you will have to question and work through it for your own sanity, really. Because again, we all one in a soup of unconditional love. We need to be able to see it, we need to be able to feel it, and connecting to your heart chakra daily on little things that you do through the day, to the big things that you do through the day, so that your heart chakra is speaking to you through these sensations that you feel deep in your chest. Like right now, it's glowing. I'm speaking, it's glowing, and I know I'm talking from unconditional love. But if I sit here and I start criticizing, so my heart will stop glowing. And I've done the test to myself. I've sat here on my own. I've done that test. Can I make my heart glow by speaking my truth? Yes. Can I make my heart glow by criticizing a wall? No, it doesn't. It just doesn't glow. So practice activating your heart chakra in little things that you do, so that you can work through these mirrors, through the version of unconditional love, through the version of what the soul is trying to show you and what your soul is trying to show them. There's always a soul message in this mirror reflection, and they are from unconditional love. The subconscious messages are very conditional, can be very hurtful. Can we look beyond that? I send you love and light.